You know, that's just exciting and wonderful. In fact, we stood back here and Dave asked me, what would you like to sing this morning? And I thought for a minute and I said, I didn't say anything. I couldn't think of anything. And of course, Eloise, trying to, let's do thank you for this day. I never get to make any choices. Anyway, thank you for this day. Thank you for being here at the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Menifee Valley. Thank you. And it's wonderful that we get together as one mind, one voice, one thought, one God. And I really want to say I'm glad you're here. And I know you would like to turn to somebody else in this audience and say, I'm glad you're here. Would you do that for me?
I'm glad you're here. Still glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. Oh, that felt good. And I'm glad I'm here. And I know why I'm here. I have some interesting news this morning. And right now, I'm just going to shut up because I'm not going to tell you what that interesting news is yet. Because right now, we have to hear the interesting news to find out what's going on in our church and our community. And here he is, Mr. Dave Minyard.
I'm a little conflicted. I feel like Bill just stole some of my thunder. Can we be excited for my announcements? All right. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Menifee Valley. We are a new thought community based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, which revolve around the basic principles of power, positive thinking, and the law of attraction. So no matter where you are in your spiritual path, we are happy you were here. We are glad you found us, and welcome. So, February theme. Magic. So I read this, I usually read the full thing on the first week, but this one's really good, and so I want to read it again. So please bear with me. I'll try to read it really fast, but also breathe about it. So the February theme and intent is embracing the edge. So February invites us to embrace the edge, that place just beyond what is familiar, comfortable, or known. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes reminds us to be open at the top. We must be willing to grow, and growth often happens at the edges of our certainty. At CSLMV, we've long practiced open minds, open hearts, open arms, and open at the top. This month, we explore what that means to live like that, not just in thought, but in action. Embracing the edge does not mean reckless risk-taking. It means noticing where life is inviting us to stretch, internally and externally. So throughout February, we'll explore the dynamic flow between involution, which is turning inward to examine beliefs, and evolution, which is expressing that inner transformation outward into the world. So with that, take this. The edge is where transformation begins. This month, may we stay present, open, and willing, trusting that what lies just beyond our comfort may be exactly what is calling us forward. The edge is not a place of danger. It is a place of becoming your greatest yet to be, which is what we are all about. So, what else are we all about? We are about a word here. There is a word, at least we all know this word. It's a very common word. The word is absolutely. So absolutely. Get ahead of yourself, Lucy. So absolutely is the most positive affirmation you can possibly say. There's nothing higher than that. It is absolutely the most important affirmation because there is no denying what you're asking for and there's no denying what you're affirming. So, we have a little fun thing that we do here. I'm going to read a statement, and then I want you all to yell back a word. Do we know what that word is?
No. Absolutely!
I heard someone say no. So let's do that again. Do we know what that word is?
Absolutely!
All right, so let's do this. Everybody together. Ready?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to let that one slide. That was a little bit too much. much. Okay, are we willing to step beyond what is familiar and comfortable without overstepping boundaries?
Absolutely.
Do we meet the unknown with curiosity instead of fear?
Absolutely.
Are we open at the top, ready to grow, stretch, and become more?
Absolutely.
Do we trust that the edge is not danger, but transformation in motion?
Absolutely.
Then let February be our becoming, where inner reflection meets outer expression, and we let Spirit lead us forward. And when we are asked if we are ready for it and ready to embrace the edge, we say with conviction, all of us together now, absolutely! Yes, thank you. Oh. Telling you, I gotta come up with these every month, and you guys all do phenomenal, so thank you. All right, so and on to announcements. If you all please silence your cell phones, as we know cell phones can be contagious. Next week, our speaker is going to be Ann Woodward, and I'm not sure what she's going to be speaking on yet, but it is always a treat and always phenomenal. Community events. So inside your bulletin, you're going to find a list of community events going on here at the center. Please feel free to take the inserts, but please leave the outer portion in the basket over there by the front table. So I have a couple really cool announcements that I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not going to make you wait. So the first one is in honor of Valentine's Day. Cheryl has brought a bunch of little goodies in the back over there on the table. They are calendars and treats and cards for Valentine's Day. You're more than welcome to take one. They are for everybody. So please help me thank Cheryl for bringing some cool stuff. And very cute stuff, too. And I don't say that lightly. Cute stuff. All right, my next announcement. We have a class. Yeah. So we are really excited to announce an upcoming class called Spiritual Principles and Practices. It's going to be starting February 23rd. It's a Monday. This is a 5-week introductory class rooted in science of mind, and it's designed not only to help you deepen your understanding of the teaching, but to actually apply it in your everyday life. And what makes this class especially meaningful is it's also a wonderful way to get to know one another on a deeper level. And just to speak on that personally, I took a foundations class when I first started, and we met some amazing people and got to know people. It's such a deepening of a community. I'll be taking the class myself, as will Kara and a bunch of us already. So it's going to be awesome, and I'm genuinely looking forward to taking it. Now for the teacher. Reverend Linda is graciously offering this first class, so no excuses, completely free. No cost. Except she is donating her time because she truly wants this class to be accessible to everybody. The suggested CSL value for this course is $160 a person. So you are getting a bargain. So there is no cost to attend at all. But if you want a certificate, it's $40. And that actually goes to home office. It's an accredited class. So if you're wanting to become a practitioner, if you're wanting to think about becoming a minister, or if you just want the accreditation, then you just got to pay the $40 and get the awesome certificate. This is an invitation to dive deeper into the teachings of our founder, Ernest Holmes, and to learn spiritual practices like meditation and spiritual mind treatment that stay with you for a lifetime. The class is going to meet every Monday for 5 weeks here in the sanctuary, from 6 o'clock to 7:30. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. Oh, there is a sign-up sheet in the back, so please be sure to register today if you want to take part in the class. And I really encourage you to do this if you're interested in deepening your understanding of this teaching. Because I was lost in this teaching until I took a foundations class. And the one-on-one experience and the growing from that is what really opened my mind to this teaching and able to understand what some of the terms that you hear and what some of the meanings are behind it. It's phenomenal. I love that word, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, so I expect to see you all there, and I want to see some names on that list before the end of the day. All right, so upcoming stuff here at the center, besides the amazing class, Sisters Healing Sisters. That's coming up on Wednesday, February 11th, 6 to 7:30. That is a free monthly women's circle where women can come together to support, uplift, and heal. We do have our facilitator here. Would you want to say something about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. In fact, thank you for reminding me it's coming up this Wednesday. So my name is Priscilla. I'm a local community organizer where I'm year. It's growing, it's mighty. And again, if you want to just come for community, or you're grieving, or you want to share something beautiful and important, and really deepen your spirituality with other sisters, come on down every second Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock. See you then.
And again, I've heard phenomenal things about that class. The word of the day is phenomenal. Yeah, I've heard great things about it, so you're doing good work there. So also coming up this week, Friday, February 13th, my favorite day of the year, we have the Jazz House, which, if you don't know what that is a jazz group that performs here. And you can also bring your instrument and play along. If you play guitar, if you play saxophone, whatever, there's plenty of room for everybody. They usually have treats and snacks and stuff, so that's this Friday from 6 to 9. Also coming up at the end of the month, Friday, February 27th from 6 to 8 is the next live jam concert. That concert is a band called the Hot Rod Trio, which is kind of like a rockabilly, rock, blues, everything. Now this one's going to be a little different than normal. It's still $10 for the dinner, and the food is Gracie's lunchbox. The difference is that if you don't eat, there is a $5 admission charge. But if you pay the $10, you get admitted, and you get the food. So technically, you're getting the food for $5, which, to be honest, at $10, the food was a deal. So now it's even better. So yeah, that's going to be February 27th, 6 to 8. Stay after service today for coffee and treats and all the fun stuff. So many notes. If you have a prayer request for the week, please place it in the prayer box located underneath the porch of Ernest Holmes over there. Or you can see White Feather, Bill, Eloise. White Feather, did you want to say something? Oh, or Reverend Linda, of course. Speaker. That was the next in my line.
I just wanted to let you know the drum circle was off.
Yes. If you missed the drum circle this last Wednesday,
It was awesome.
phooey on you, because it was amazing from what I heard. Good turnout. And of course, there was some good energy around it, which was much needed. For more information, you can visit our website at CSLMV.org. And I say this every week, please like us on Facebook, Instagram, all those fun things. If you share things, or if you see things and it touches you, share it, like it, tell your friends about us, because we're out here trying to do a good service for this community and a good service to ourselves. So before I intro our practitioner Eloise to come give you an amazing chanting, and then of course we got White Feather with the music and Bill with the reading, please repeat after me. Open minds. Open minds. Open hearts. Open hearts. Open arms. Open arms. Open at the top. Open at the top. You guys have an absolutely great week.
And I wanted to add one thing to the announcements, and that is,
Go Lakers!
today is Super Bowl Sunday. And I want to move this right along, so let's get this going so I can go down to Orange County and watch Super Bowl with my family. Okay? Okay. All right, so I'll shut up now, and let's get this thing pulled back together where it really belongs this morning. As we enter into the spiritual beauty of this event, this meeting, this group, and to start us off with our invocation and our morning chant, Eloise.
My chant this morning is Hey Hey Govinda, Hey Hey Gopala. And as I often mention, a chant is a prayer. Not asking for anything, but just honoring the God that is within, the God that is everywhere. Hey, hey, Govinda, on this beautiful Sunday morning where each of us is here to recognize the God that is within everyone. God is all there is. God is in the wonder. God is in the glory. And God is in the consequences. And God is in the pain. Whatever we are going through, whatever our circumstances are, always know God is there to assist, to compel, to urge, and to create your beautiful life. Knowing that everything is a learning experience and recognizing that each one of us is perfect, whole, complete, and divine. And in that divinity is where we have our being, where we create our lives. Always know God is with you. Always be assured that you are the power. And in my gratitude for recognizing and knowing and being aware of this, I release my word into the law of mind. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. And together we say, and so it is.
This morning I want to preface the reading with a story. Actual experience. This happened just this last week. I made a discovery myself at a meeting I attended, and I was asked to give thanks for whatever I want, whatever blessings had come to me. And I didn't really think about it too much until I began realizing that I've been through a lot of churches and different sects and read the Bible a lot and understood those things. We talk about miracles happening all the time. And I thought, boy, I haven't had a miracle in a long time. But I started to talk about my gratitude, the things I was grateful for. And I said, well, I'm grateful that in the 70 years of my spiritual journey, 70 years of my spiritual journey, now not yours is whatever length of time you have, but in my 70 years, I had so much to be grateful for, and I saw miracles, and miracles did happen in my life every single day. I wasn't aware of them, but they were there. And I remembered the Bible verses that said that Moses opened the waters opened, and that Jesus said we can move mountains. I've been doing that for 70 years, and you've been doing that for as many years as your spiritual journey has taken you. It moved you. You have moved mountains. There were molehills. Those were your mountains. Those were my mountains. And I continued with that thought, that those miracles were taking place in my life. And you have those miracles taking place in your life too. And I was reminded then of what my duty really is. And that is to understand that there is an inner spirit, a God that lives within each and every one of us, the power and the presence. And so I read this message that I've read before, but it came to me this morning. That I could pass those blessings on to everybody else. But this is what Emmett Fox had to say about them. It cannot be your duty to do anything that is beyond your reach or your strength at the moment. Let go and let God. It cannot be your duty to do anything which sacrifices your own integrity or your own spiritual development. It cannot be right to be hurried or sad or discouraged or angry or resentful or antagonistic under any circumstances. If you have no time for prayer and meditation, you'll have lots of time for sickness and trouble. So let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep your commandments, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of mankind. That's all. And so is it. And now, the real treat this morning, because our own Reverend Linda Overton is here to give us our message for the day. Let's give her a nice big hand.
Good morning. I'm glad to see all of you today. And Bill was talking about integrity, and that's a little bit what this talk is about. When I first looked at the title of this talk, well, this month is Walking the Edge, but this week we're talking about exploring what it means to walk the edge of life, and I'm thinking, what are we gonna explore? Like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute? But that's not it, it's purely spiritual. So it is that moment where living your truth starts to feel bold, uncomfortable, or a little uncertain. And the question is simple, but it's powerful. What does it look like to live my truth when it feels risky or uncomfortable? And most of us already know the truth on the inside. The real edge appears when our inner knowing asks us to show up differently in our relationships, our choices, and our conversations, and our actions. We live in a time when it's easier than ever to stay quiet, to scroll past and keep the peace. Yet, the cost of silence is showing up everywhere in our workplace, our communities, and even in our own sense of ourselves. So I have a story to share that illustrates this. What that can look like in everyday life. And actually I have 3 stories today. So there was a woman sitting in a meeting at work. Nothing dramatic was happening, no raised voices, no obvious conflict, just a routine conversation in a meeting moving along as expected. And yet, halfway through it started. A familiar tightening in the chest, a subtle heat behind the ribs. Someone who wasn't in the room was being discussed. Not harshly, not cruelly, just carelessly. Assumptions slipped in. A story formed. Conclusions quietly settled into the place. She could feel it immediately. She's thinking, that isn't true. Not intellectually, in her body, and at the same time, she felt the risk rise up just as clearly. If she spoke, the air would change. She might be seen as difficult, or overly sensitive, or that person. Silence would be smoother. Silence would be safer. So she stood on the inner edge, the place where insight as something of us. Howard Thurman writes that once we've touched truth inwardly, our work becomes achieving and act what one has experienced in insight. So sitting there, she understood that her insight wasn't done with her yet. It was asking to be embodied. Her heart was pounding when she finally spoke. She didn't challenge anyone. She didn't lecture. She didn't even raise her voice. She simply said, I'm not sure that's the whole picture. I've experienced something different. That was all. One sentence, one small step forward. The room stilled. Someone shifted in their chair. Another person looked down. Then slowly, the conversation changed direction. Not perfectly, not cleanly, but honestly. More human than it had been a moment before. After that meeting, a colleague pulled her aside and said quietly, I'm really glad you said something. I didn't know how. And that person was me when I was very new to working in a program I was working in. And I wasn't even a manager yet. It was like years later before I became a manager. And I hadn't taken Toastmasters yet, so I didn't even like speaking in public. And I took that chance to say that. So this is the edge, the line between what we know in our hearts and how we act in the world. Every choice, every action can either honor our inner truth or let it stay hidden. The edge shows up before thought in the tightening of the heart, the hesitation, the quick calculation of risk. If you felt that, you've been there. So private belief is what you think, feel, or agree with on the inside. Public action is what you actually do, say, and live in the world. The edge appears where those two don't automatically match. You might know that kindness matters, that everyone has value, or that love is the answer. But the real test is acting that way when it costs you something, pride or comfort, approval or ease. Insight alone is like seeing a bridge. You understand it exists, and you know you can get across the river, but unless you step onto it, nothing changes. And crossing the edge is that step. Fear doesn't mean we're falling or failing. It usually means we care. The question isn't whether fear shows up, but who gets to lead. So here's another story about integrity. I used to work with a doctor, and we had to meet with him once a week, and he would sign stacks of charts we had and look at the patients. They were complicated cases that we didn't really know how to respond, and we had all these state and county guidelines we had to follow. And then there was also applications and stuff for new doctors in our program we had to sign. And he was just full of this best wisdom. And he always told us, whatever you're doing, your name is on it. Do it with integrity. No, not perfection, but with ownership. Every chart we touch, every email, every decision we make, every quiet moment when no one's watching, it still carries your name. And I remember one moment he was reviewing a complicated case, and a mistake had been made earlier, and many people could have looked away and blamed someone else or stayed silent, but he stepped in. He corrected the error, and he explained clearly what needed to be done. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't heroic or headline sense, but in that moment he was putting his name on the work, on the care, on the truth. And he showed that living with integrity, even when it's uncomfortable, leaves a mark, and a positive one. And you know, sometimes I even think about that when I'm cleaning my toilets at home. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm putting my name on this, it better be clean. I think about what he says all the time, because he always told that. So I always think, oh, I'm putting my name on it. So every choice, action, and word reflects your integrity. In every moment you have a choice. You can act from fear, comfort, or avoidance, or you can step forward, speak honestly, and act with care, and make a difference. Living the truth isn't always dramatic. It is in the everyday decisions where we show who we are. Faithfulness to your inner compass even quietly shapes the world around you. Ernest Holmes said, refuse to see the negative side of anyone. What he is saying is that what you choose to see shapes your experience. When you stop focusing on the negative in others, you create a more loving mindset, and your mind responds accordingly. The people in these stories were doing the best they could in situations that they called for in clarity, courage, and compassion, not silence. Courage isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's about noticing the small openings around us. For example, I'm going to tell you another story. A man I know volunteers at a local shelter, and he was a volunteer. So one evening, a newcomer came and looked around and was exhausted. But the staff that were there were busy. Everything moved according to routine. He stood on the edge, unsure, completely overwhelmed. The volunteer noticed, and he felt the tension right away. He could have stayed quiet. He could have followed the routine and stayed out of the way. Instead, he listened to that small inner nudge. Pay attention, step forward. So he walked over to the man and he said, would you like help getting settled in? The man hesitated and then nodded. They talked for a few minutes. The volunteer listened. He brought him a cup of tea and some blankets and got him settled in. By the end of the night, the newcomer wasn't just another person passing through. He felt seen, and he felt safe. The volunteer understood something important. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet voice to notice someone and to show up. So we've talked about these moments of small courage. So I want to practice stepping into our own edge right here with a quick meditation. And you know I love spiritual practices, and did Dave mention we have a class coming up on spiritual practices? So we're going to do meditation and spiritual mind treatment and all of this. And these spiritual practices like this meditation, which is very short, the one I'm doing right now, helps you communicate with God and with yourself. So, I'd like you just to settle in, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and just feel your body supported by the chair, present and alive. I want you to recall a moment, big or small, where your truth wanted to be expressed, but it felt risky or uncomfortable. Feel the tension and the hesitation, the nervous energy in your body. Just notice it without judgment. Now, imagine taking one small action. Maybe it's speaking, listening, helping, or standing up with compassion. See yourself acting with courage, even quietly, and breathe into that courage. And say silently, I am present. I step forward with integrity. I choose care and truth. Now notice how your body feels when you choose integrity, even in this imagined moment. Take another deep breath. Feel the ripple of this choice in your body, like a stone dropped into water. Know that even small acts of courage and kindness leave a mark. So now you can open your eyes slowly and carry the awareness of your edge into whatever comes next. Remembering, showing up with integrity, even quietly, matters. Ernest Holmes taught that spirituality isn't just about what we believe. It's about how we treat people. He encouraged us to see the world as a friend and to act like one in return. Real spirituality shows up in what we do. Our kind thoughts aren't enough if our actions don't match. We're asked to treat others with care and respect, especially when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Howard Thurman said that when someone is in need, it's an opening into their inner life. When we help from genuine care, not obligation, we create real connection. Giving then sometimes becomes meaningful to both people. Spirituality lives where our values meet everyday life. It shows up in small acts of honesty, courage, and kindness. Even these small actions can be spread and affect others in ways we may never see. So what practical things can you do in your everyday life? Start simple. Listen fully when someone is struggling without rushing to fix them or turning away. Being present is often the greatest gift you can offer. Choose integrity, even when it feels uncomfortable or costs you something. Do the right thing when no one is watching, when it's easier not to. Show kindness in small, everyday ways through patience, fairness, and simple acts of care. These moments may seem small, but they matter more than we realize. Let your beliefs shape how you live, not just what you say. Speak honestly, even when it takes courage. Act with compassion, especially when it's inconvenient. Live with integrity, both private and public moments. So here's my invitation. When you clean your toilet this week, your name is on it. No, not really. Now my invitation is, the edge will meet you again. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It will show up quietly in a conversation you want to avoid, in a moment where silence is easier, in a chance to choose kindness, honesty or care when no one is asking you to. When that moment comes, remember this. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be willing. Willing to listen to that inner knowing. Willing to let your actions match what your heart already knows. Because every time you step into that edge with integrity, every time you speak gently but truthfully, every time you act with care instead of comfort, every time you choose courage over avoidance, you leave a mark. Not just a situation, not just on another person, but on the kind of person you are becoming. This is how spirituality becomes real. This is the truth, how it takes on flesh. This is how the world changes, not all at once, but moment by moment, through ordinary people choosing to live what they believe. So may you trust the edge when you feel it. May you honor the quiet courage if it asks you. And may your life, through small faithful acts, become a living expression of truth, compassion, and integrity. That is the work, and it matters more than you know. Thank you, and so it is.
Yes.
So it is. So let's pray. So take a deep breath in. You can keep your eyes open, you can close them, but just get in that place of prayer. And know that we recognize one presence, the infinite mind, the source of all life, love, and wisdom. That this divine power flows through each and every one of us, each and every heart, guiding us to act with courage, clarity, and compassion. We are one with this divine presence. We are expressions of the divine truth, divine courage, and divine love. All guidance, strength, and integrity we need is within us now. We are walking the edge of life with faith and confidence. We speak honestly, act from love, and let our inner truth shine in every moment. Every choice we make creates ripples of goodness, courage, and transformation. So we give thanks for the courage to act, the wisdom to choose rightly, and the love that touches others through us. We're grateful for the unfolding of divine life in every step we take. We release this word into the law, knowing it is already done. Our truth guides us, our actions are blessed, and all is in divine order. And together we say, and so it is.
And
thank you.
So it is. Wow, what a message. Nice hand. I couldn't have said it better myself. That was beautiful. Thank you, and thank you for being here this morning. That message comes right into the heart, right in. Well, listen, now it's time for our offertory, and I'm sure that Eloise has something wonderful to tell us regarding our offertory.
Actually, we have an abundance affirmation. So let's just all say it together. With open hearts and open minds, I give cheerfully, knowing the love and abundance I share returns to me in joyful ways. And we have our usher, Gail, will be coming around to collect your tithes, your gifts, your donations to this center. And Dave is back at the sound booth, and he can take credit cards and debit cards. So if you don't have extra cash in your purse, we all have debit cards. I was so happy we could use our debit cards here. Isn't that great? So I want to thank you all for helping keeping this center alive. And now we're going to be singing I Am So Blessed. And Brian is going to sing it with us.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
And we bless this offering, we bless these gifts to the works of our center. And we thank you, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, now there's nothing left to do, let's go home. Oh, do we have?
Yeah, we got coffee.
Got coffee, okay. So we can have a cup of coffee and sing around the campfire or whatever. But now, it's time for us to join together and sing our closing song. And we sing, let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. But we're really saying, let there be peace within. We're not just talking about world peace, we're talking about peace of mind. That's what we're seeking here today. So if you'd like to join us, you may. You don't have to. It's not absolutely necessary. But it goes something like this.